This is the hardest for a lot of people. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Becky. I'm a wife, mom, realtor, and homestager located in northern Utah. And today I am going to tell you how you can stage your home like a pro in 7 easy steps. The first thing I want to talk about is the difference between staging a home to sell and decorating a home for yourself. There are 2 key things that make this a different experience. The first key thing is that when you are staging a home, who do you have in mind? Prospective buyers, of course, people who you want to walk into your home and feel like, wow, this is a beautiful move-in ready space. I can imagine myself living here. It's comfortable for me. Versus when you are decorating your own space, you are typically thinking more about you and your family and your function of how you guys live and your goals for your own personal space and what you want it to look like. That is the first key. The second key is when you're home staging, there is a huge emphasis on the overall flow of the home and accenting those key selling features. Things that buyers will love that you might not care very much about. So home stagers typically will walk in and locate those items and stage around it. The trick is when you do it on your own, you have to be able to identify those pieces and really draw a lot of attention to them. Versus when you're decorating, you can make the emphasis in your home whatever you want it to be, because what matters to you is what matters to you, and that's what matters most when it's your space. So those are kind of a couple key things I want to mention before we get started today. If you are someone who is looking to sell your home, the best thing you can possibly do is stage it. If you don't want to hire a home stager, you can certainly make your home look nice and staged, and today's video is going to tell you exactly how to do that. So if you like this video, please like it and consider subscribing. If you are into home-oriented content such as this, here on my channel, we talk about all things home, from DIY to organization and home decor. So please join our community if that is what you're into. The first rule that I would like to talk about is the rule of less is more. When a home stager walks into your home, any room they walk in, the first thing they're going to tell you is 99% of the time going to be declutter this space. The reason is, again, because home staging is focused on being broad enough that you can reach a wide pool of buyers, that you can target the most people with this technique. Again, home staging is a lot like marketing. You're marketing your home to sell it. You want that space to flow nicely, have a cohesive color palette that moves through the entire home, that is largely a neutral-based color palette and a neutral pattern tone. You want it to be as soft and subtle as possible. Rule number 2 is to create a focal point in every single room possible. It doesn't have to be huge, but it is something that if you can do this effectively, it does make a huge difference in the professional photos that a photographer will take of your space and the overall feel that a potential client will have when they walk through your home. So great places to include these focal points are your entryway, your family room, your dining room, your kitchen island, if you have a fireplace, a study, or the headboard wall. These typically are the most popular places to implement focal points because they make the most sense. These are areas that buyers tend to focus on, just like you did when you walked through your home and fell in love with it for the first time. Some of the ways that you can create a focal point is by using art, large art pieces, or painted accent walls, large headboards, lighting, or other design elements. These are a few of the ways that you can create focal points. Rule number 3 is to never break the flow. This has to do with 2 different things. One, it has to do with the flow of the color palette, meaning that throughout your entire home, you have a consistent color theme consisting of neutrals with 1 to 2 pops of accent color. I would really recommend sticking to those earthy tones that are nice and warm and subtle. You can't go wrong if you decorate that way today. If you want more information on what colors and things are trending in 2023, I will link a video down below where I talk about this a little bit more in depth. The second thing I'm talking about when I mention never break the flow is talking about the physical flow of the home, meaning the traffic patterns of the home. Never have furniture that is disrupting the natural traffic pattern that a person might walk through when they're touring your home for the first time. Hopefully, when you host your first open house, multiple families will come through, hopefully all at the same time, and this will force a little bit of extra movement in those traffic patterns. If you set up the furniture strategically, it will allow families to move through your home freely, experience the space in its totality, and imagine themselves living there. It's important to make sure that your furniture is set up in exactly the right place to give potential buyers the best possible impression of your home. If you want tips on how you can set up the furniture based off of the rooms, leave me a comment down below because this is something that I've been thinking about doing as a video. Rule number 4 is lighting, lighting, lighting. Be careful with your lighting. Make sure you've got lots of lighting. This matters because of a couple of different things. One, lighting can do a lot to add ambiance and a nice soft feel to your home. I talk about this in depth in another video where I talk about how we can warm up your space. I will link that video down below as well. When you are staging a home, you need to implement at least 3 different types of lighting. So one would be your overhead lighting, second would be your task lighting, and third would be your table lighting. You want to hit at least 3 different types of lighting. That way, during an open house, you can have the lights on and your lamp light on and your task lights on, and it will help draw people's attention to those spaces that you most want to accentuate. In addition to that, they do let off nice soft light, further adding to the rich, warm feeling for a home that most buyers are looking for today. Rule number 5 is to emphasize function. So when you are staging, in particular countertops, this is one of the areas where you can really do this. So in your kitchen, make sure that your staging is set up in such a way that it shows people different work zones in the kitchen, meaning that you might have a cute set of cookware next to your stove. And then about 1.5 feet from there, you may have a couple of cookbooks stacked. And then over from there, you may have a coffee pot and a coffee bar set up. This is showing people distinct zones of the kitchen that they could use for different purposes. And although it's very subtle, it does improve the overall perceived functionality of the space. You can do this also in bathrooms by strategically placing your soap containers or your makeup mirror or different things like this. Drawing attention to these little details makes a huge difference for a lot of buyers. In addition, you want to consider adding little things where you may not have had them before. So for example, if you have a smaller entryway and you don't have a lot of room to hang your coats or drop your bags or put your keys, now would be a good time to think about a short-term solution that most buyers could perceive as a functional drop zone space, like adding a couple of hooks or a hanging basket or even a very small entryway console table. Even if this is something that you won't use for long, I really recommend thoughtfully designing each space to be as functional as possible. Rule number 6 is draw the eye. I know we already talked a little bit about focal points, but now I'm going to talk about a couple of different other ways that you can draw the eye to more attractive features and distract the eye from less attractive features. So one of the ways that you can draw the eye is by hanging your curtains up as high as possible. Hang them close to the ceiling with drapes that touch the floor. This will draw the eye up and give an illusion of nice tall ceilings. If you have a smaller room, I recommend matching the curtain color to the color of the wall. This will do a lot to help make that wall look larger and make that room look even taller. Another thing you can do to draw the eye is strategically hang pictures or wall art at eye level. Make sure you place them in areas where you want people to look and focus, and it will distract from areas that are less attractive. Another thing you can do is utilize the rule of 3. This is when you place 3 pieces of decor together to give it a more interesting look. This can be like what's seen behind me with the plant, candle, and little sculpture, or this can also be done with throw pillows, bed pillows, throw blankets with 2 pillows, you name it. Anywhere you can layer 3 things, it will make that space automatically look more visually interesting. And the last little tip is use negative space wisely. You don't have to over decorate because, again, remember the rule number 1, less is more. So use that empty space to your advantage. Make sure that you have plenty of clean space, plenty of room to show how large and grand your space is, even if it isn't. You want to give the illusion that there is plenty of storage, plenty of room, and it's perfect to move into right now today. If you over decorate, you run into the risk of your space looking cluttered. Beautiful, but cluttered. So make sure that you leave room for negative space. And my last tip, you guys, is rule number 7. It is the rule of depersonalization. This is the hardest for a lot of people, especially families who have kiddos living in a home that you are listing to sell. You need to depersonalize that space as much as possible, meaning minimize family portraits, kids' toys, hobbies, and anything else that might distract a potential buyer from how beautiful your home is. Again, this is not something that is typically very easy to do, so I'm sorry to give it to you as advice, but it is true. The less personalized it is, the more likely your home will look move-in ready and like somebody will feel when they walk in that they could grab their suitcase and move in and be happy today. So a couple of the things that I mentioned, removing a lot of family portraits, taking down kids' artwork, minimizing the toys or hobby materials. So for example, if you are a huge crafter or you love to sew or you have a home gym that's cluttered with all kinds of equipment, just reduce the amount of items that you have in each space, show it defined for what it is, but make sure that it's looking nice, not too overdone, and not too personalized for you. This also has a little bit to do with decor style. So if you are hardcore into one of the particular design styles, tone it back just a little bit so that it is a more neutral palette. Okay guys, those are my tips for how you can stage your home like a pro in 7 easy steps. If you like this video, please give it a like and a comment down below. Thank you so much for being here and have a great day. Bye!